Wendy Williams is set not to return to TV. She doesn't want to return to TV. Instead, she wants to tour and expose the abusive activity that goes on with the guardianship system. She wants to facilitate and sit on panels and have discussion and bring awareness. Honestly, I love this for Wendy Williams. I love it. I feel like it's the perfect next step in her career. And I feel like her being on TV, you know, Wendy Williams is already solidified. She done paved the way. She done opened doors on TV, daytime TV for women, black women especially. She has opened the doors in radio, media. Like, she don't need to do no more with that. Of course, we love her. We love her energy, her takes, her messiness, like the raw, unfiltered. Everything about her was so unique and like groundbreaking. How you doing? Like, we love that. What she's done for culture, it'll never go away. That's one of my favorite things about media and art. Like, what you create is always here. Those clips, those interviews, we can refer to those forever. And honestly, I think having a daily job as you get older and also dealing with health challenges, like I feel like the TV life would probably be too demanding. She's experiencing we've seen her experience, some issues and encounters on TV. Just my take, I feel like no one would really want to go through that. As you get older, sometimes daily tasks are harder than, what people think. Just witnessing, health challenges with people aging, this is something that I feel, and it's probably why I'm in such support of it, because honestly, this is about guardianship system, but in most cases, or I guess half the cases, this would probably relate to older people, senior people, when it relates to being abused in that way, elder abuse, that type of thing. I think that her being a spokesperson for that is something that she can do to give her like a greater purpose. Humanize Wendy in a bit, because sometimes people weren't she did the hot topics and gave the gossip and that type of thing, but a lot of times her takes weren't always like what people agreed with, and sometimes people became critical of her, less empathetic when she experienced her own battles, because her approach sometimes on stories. And I just think that this is a perfect way to like smooth that out and just be a part of a bigger purpose. As someone who has kind of like dealt with caregiving and like senior assistance and resources and that type of thing, I do want to say that depending on where you are, a lot of times those resources are limited, and a lot of times people just disregard seniors, or people just disregard like the needs. And a lot of the world is advancing and is geared towards younger people, and like it's like when you get to a certain point, it seems like society just kind of discards you. And I see that a lot with seniors, and working with, well, not necessarily working with, but just different encounters. And I think it's important because Wendy is someone who has a voice, and she also has an audience. And a lot of times, when in this particular situation, guardianship, I'm sure that's not something that is highlighted a lot. And her bringing her voice and an audience to that can help make changes that otherwise would have gone unnoticed. A lot of times with like I was mentioning about the resources for seniors, like a lot of times once them resources is used up, like if you ain't into what you need before that happens, like you SOL, you out of luck. And it's not as a just like a regular citizen, trying to make things happen. Sometimes you just gotta pull from your own money, your own, resources. Like you can't depend on assistance and that type of thing. So I can't imagine, like, with that already being in place and somewhat, Wendy's situation, I'm just paraphrasing. like feel free to research it on your own. But in Wendy's situation, where she had someone, the bank, like determined that she was incapable and assigned some random person to assist her when she has her own family, sisters, nephews, children, or child, like that is absolutely ridiculous. And I couldn't imagine personally, because I deal with, caregiving, that type of thing, um, to a certain extent. I couldn't imagine if like a corporation just came out of nowhere and completely disregarded me and started doing and put my loved one in some random place, and I can't get to her, and it's not access, and it's all type of red tape to go through. It would be hell to pay. I understand that, and a lot of people don't, you know, apply focus because it's not something that they have to deal with. And sometimes that's just a natural human reaction because you don't think about things when you don't have to deal with them. But I know that that's a very important initiative, and I am proud that, there's someone, especially a black woman, getting involved in that type of thing, because being a senior and, resources, and I'm sure guardianship, that type of thing, is almost like a minority type of situation. So, on top of that, being a woman in that situation and being a black woman in that situation, you know, people don't take us seriously. And as you age, it gets worse. So I really, really, really love this. This is an excellent opportunity. And being that she's gone through it personally, it connects and it hits home. It's the perfect choice. It fits with her position in life. When you get to a certain point, like if she's, I don't know exactly how old Wendy Williams is, but she doesn't need to be on TV talking about hot topics. Like she's paved the way. We have Sherry Shepherd on daytime TV. We have Tamron Hall on daytime TV. Jennifer Hudson. Those lovely ladies, they cover the hot topics, and because of Wendy, she had the numbers through the roof. So when the corporations look at that they are willing to take a chance, which sounds ridiculous because why does it take a chance? But that's just how the system works. And I feel like her putting her voice on guardianship, that's gonna have a domino effect to other issues and, shed a light on them. So she may do that now, and then, it brings light to other issues surrounding that, like how I was saying about seniors and resources, that type of thing, which I honestly would love to get involved in myself. So that is inspiring in that way. And I'm here for it. That's my take.